I have been living back in Lafayette, Louisiana for 6 years, and today I'm going to give you guys my honest thoughts about what it's like to live here. Unlike most videos that you'll find about a city, I'm not going to try to hide the bad, and I'm not going to oversell the good to you. The truth is Lafayette does have some very unique advantages that I haven't found anywhere else, but it also has some serious problems that has made me consider, and I even did at one time, leaving once or twice. So in this video, I'm going to cover what's changed in Lafayette during my last 6 years here. I'm going to talk about the neighborhoods that are changing the fastest, what types of people I recommend should move here, and who it might not be so good for. So let's start by looking at how Lafayette has evolved over the years. So I'm actually born and raised from this area. I grew up in a little town called Abbeville, but I've actually found myself when I moved back to the area wanting to move to Lafayette because it is where all the hustle and bustle it is the most exciting part, is where most of my work that I do is, and so it made sense to me that I would want to be here in Lafayette. I didn't enjoy the commute of living further outside in the suburbs. Abbeville's about a 25-minute drive, and so doing that every day got really exhausting. But during the past 6 years, I would definitely say I have seen an uptick not only in the subdivisions but in the amenities that we see available. There are so many new stores and restaurants and different nightlife things that have come. Entertainment, fun for the whole family. All of those things have really transformed the way that people live here. We have seen big road projects that have been completed, that new interstate that has been updated that goes throughout the area, creating more safety barriers. And we're continuing to see constant growth. Big transformations of all these things all surrounding the city are continuing to make it a much better city, and it's continuing to grow in a very quick way. When you look around Lafayette now, what you'll start to notice is we have so many different pockets and different areas that have continued to add on to the city. For instance, many areas that are continuing to transform with new subdivisions and more shopping, grocery stores, things well within your reach. For instance, Youngsville is not far off from Lafayette and considered one of what I would call a very popular areas of the city. It's connected not far from here. You have Maurice, you have Scott, you have Dusson, you have Karen Crow, which is growing. So these are all cities that are very closely connected to Lafayette, which I would call the greater Acadiana area. And so because of these things, that's what all the transformation is happening. Some people are moving from the city out to the suburbs. So we're seeing a lot of families wanting a bit more space, some newer construction areas and things that just offer more of that outdoors lifestyle. Now, another major thing that I've witnessed transform is the fewer dining options into an explosion of all of these trendy restaurants and nightlife that's coming. So when I first moved, downtown was really in a huge slump. For many people, we were seeing a lot of big businesses that were closing down, moving out of Lafayette, the bars, the restaurants, a lot of those were all starting to change. And when I lived here originally, when I was younger, we knew now downtown was known as the happening spot. It was lively. It was where all the bar hopping went. It was where all the young people went to hang out on the weekends, and that very quickly changed over the years. But now they have been dumping so much money into projects and trying to improve the downtown scene that now it is coming back as that young and vibrant energy place that you want downtown to be. So of course there's all new restaurants in the area, there's more nightlife, we even got our first speakeasy, there's bars, there's just plenty of things to do to keep you busy, and it feels like the nightlife that it should be. When we talk about subdivisions, obviously we're seeing a ton of subdivisions pop up in all price ranges. I have available homes right now that we're seeing still in that 200 low 200s for brand new properties. They make great starter family homes, or even just for single people, or they may be great for those that are looking to just downsize and want something that's very affordable. We've seen roundabouts be a big new addition to a lot of areas. They added the super roundabout that happens at the end of Calais Saloon, and they have many roundabouts that they've been adding to improve the flows of traffic, so no longer having to sit at stop signs or these old tired red lights that are just not timed well and you have to sit there for cycle after cycle, but rather they have focused on trying to get traffic moving, and they are putting all hands on deck on trying to get as many of those roundabouts that they can, so everything has a much better flow. Now, while these changes may seem like progress, there are both upsides and downsides that you need to know before deciding to move here. So let's talk about the affordability and the genuine community that they have. Now, I do think one of the biggest draws of Lafayette is the fact that it is affordable compared to many other cities, paired with the warm and welcome nature of the people that we have here. One of the things that I think people really love about Lafayette is the fact that Southern hospitality is not just a word. It is truly the essence of our community. Many people are very friendly. They'll wave to you while you're driving by or walking down the street. Neighbors tend to be very, very friendly. And of course, if you need some help, obviously people are always willing to help. That is always a beautiful thing. They're very sharing and giving when it comes to food or having events. They invite friends and family over. I guess you can say a lot of people are related here in many, many ways because there's big Southern families, that all have those connections. So it's very easy to make connections down here with people being related in different ways or another. But as far as when we think about the affordability and the pricing, we know that is a big thing for a lot of families. Nowadays, with inflation and just everything that's been happening in the economy, people are counting their pennies and they want to spend it wisely. So the goal is to find as much as I can, right? That's going to give me the most amount of space for the best price. And Lafayette still is able to do that in many places. There are so many up and coming communities in different areas that are outliers to the city, or some of those smaller cities that I've been discussing, such as Maurice and Karen Crow and Scott, that are very up and coming, where you can get much more manageable prices than trying to live right in the center of town. So if you're willing to make a small commute, then it could be a big draw for you. Another big draw has been for investors. There are plenty of investors that look at places around the country and they decide, well, is there a renter's market here? And there is, and there's big opportunities to even find great investment properties. We're seeing a big boom currently in investors who are building more townhouse style living. It's smaller spaces, but at the same time, it utilizes those spaces really well for living to where you have less upkeep. And it also provides you a very tight-knit community vibe. So you don't have to worry about taking care of grass or this giant yard or all of these things outside, but rather you can just enjoy a quiet little peaceful home in a tighter community. And it gives you that sense of maybe a bit more safety, knowing that other neighbors are just so close and nearby. So those types of developments we know come with bigger cities. As you start to run out of property, instead of going out, they start to go up. And so that's where we're seeing a big boom right now, is a lot of these efficiency style homes. Now, if you compare it to other larger metro areas, Lafayette really offers a lower cost of living without sacrificing the community spirit. You may think about, places like Houston, Texas, being one of the biggest major cities nearby, or New Orleans, also big major city that's nearby. So when you compare the prices of homes and the affordability, even the restaurants, the drinks, just the cost of living is significantly higher than you can find in Lafayette. So there is a benefit to coming to a more up and coming or a smaller city that is still in its growth phases. Now, the affordability also gives first-time homebuyers a big advantage, right? Families, a real opportunity that they can invest into a quality home. When you look at other places, the average sales price for homes can be anywhere from $350,000 to $400,000 around the U.S. And yet we are well below that, $255,000 being the average sales price in the area. So really, if you're a first-time home buyer or a first-time family, it might be a great fit for you guys. Upscale apartment complexes are on the rise. We're seeing new places that people can live in apartment-style living and be in really nice higher-end areas. So that's always a plus. If you are not looking to purchase right now, or you want to get a feel for the areas and just see if you really, really love living here, a great way to do that is just to rent temporarily. That way you can get to know all of the places that you like, and then you can make a better and more informed decision of where you'd actually like to live. We know newer subdivisions, they're offering modern amenities and you're getting competitive prices. They have pools, they have fishing ponds, they have walking trails, they have community event centers that are really, really convenient. So the beautiful thing about these subdivisions is they're keeping families in mind, and they're keeping the fact of what the modern family is looking for to have. Now, however, if you're someone who is used to a more impersonal or a fast-paced city life, well, this intimate lifestyle may not be the one for you, because that is what it comes to when we have a city like Lafayette. Now, the changing neighborhoods and the modern conveniences that we have here, well, Lafayette has seen a surge, we know, in new subdivisions. We're seeing upscale restaurants, youthful hangout spots are starting to pop up over the past several years. You may think of things such as Dave & Buster's, or the fact that we have now a Topgolf. those types of places have been on the rise, and most people know those brands. And of course, it attracts families to those areas because it's places to take the kids, it's things to do on the weekends, so people really enjoy that. But if we're talking about all these new housing developments, well, they're really starting to reshape the traditional neighborhoods because they're moving more towards modern amenities and updated infrastructure. You may drive through some neighborhoods and you'll notice a shift in the direction of the styles of property, many modern farm style houses, or some neighborhoods I call the black and white neighborhoods, where everyone's painted the outside of their homes white and they have black windows or black trim. And so it can feel a bit stale. They can feel a bit more cookie cutter. So those are some noticeable shifts that you might find in some of the trends or the way that homes are being built. Now, some of the trendier spots that we're seeing for young professionals and families are really that they're enjoying dining, entertainment, community events. That's what people are really starting to look for, and that's what these developers are keeping in mind. They're understanding that people want to feel community-based even within their subdivisions, where they don't have to go far to find things that they enjoy. And so that's why in a lot of these subdivisions, you'll start to see they're including these types of things, event centers. They're thinking about amphitheaters or places where they could hold live events outside, festivals, all of the things, live music. People enjoy those types of things when the weather is really nice, like it is right now in the spring, and they want to get outside and they want to feel that sense of community. They want to enjoy dining on patios. They want to play pickleball with their friends outside. That's the type of things that Lafayette is moving toward, is embracing the things that everyone's enjoying. Now, the rapid expansion we know has brought on some growing pains in the terms of traffic and, of course, the construction in some areas. So even though we have an influx of modern conveniences, and that can be really exciting, it can also contribute to a sense of urban sprawl and congestion for some people, right? So that can also be a really big negative. Now, there are challenges and development strains that come with rapid population growth and constant new construction. So Lafayette's infrastructure is really starting to feel the pressure, and the fact that, a big complaint that a lot of people will have if you ask them is the fact of the traffic. And yes, when you think about a city like LA or some of these major cities, New York City, that have so heavy traffic and something that people are just used to living in, well, for a smaller city to have some traffic congestion always can prove to be a headache and something that people are not really used to. So if you compare us to LA, yes, we don't have that same level of traffic, but knowing that our city grew a bit faster, I think, than the infrastructure was ever planned for. And so we do have some things that I think they're having to backtrack on and try to fix, such as the fact of doing all the roundabout initiatives and giving us better ways to be able to get across the city. Now, there are those occasional disruptions because of the construction projects that are happening. Thankfully, the interstate for the most part has been completed, but they are continuing to make more expansions. There's a big one happening on the I-49 corridor that goes through Broussard area. That one is having some major renovations happening, new overpasses put in. So as soon as those projects are completed, we know it's going to be really nice to have, but at the same time, it is one of the headaches that you have to get through: the traffic cones, the signs, the holdups, things like that, until they are completely finished. Some residents have noted that the pace of the changes sometimes means that older parts of the city are not getting the attention that they need. There are some parts on the north side of Lafayette that are not so beautiful to drive through, and some different areas of the city that you can tell do need more attention. But the good news is we're seeing small areas and funds being allocated toward making the sidewalks better and making the curbs and the streets not have crazy potholes that you fall into, but rather making it more convenient for any kind of traffic congestion or any type of outdoor activities. So if I want to ride a bike, or if I want bike lanes, if I want good, safe walking trails or walking sidewalks right on the side of the street so I don't have to go through traffic. Those are all things the city is aware of and that they are constantly working on. So it's good. At the same time, also can be a headache noting that there is construction and different things happening. Now, if you're someone who thrives on efficiency and a little disruption, well, these growing pains might be a deal breaker for you. Well, the cultural identity and lifestyle considerations, right, of Lafayette. So Lafayette's known for its culture, right? Deeply rooted in our traditions, and we have a strong emphasis on community. Flavorful, spicy cuisine is what we're known for. Cajun food. We are the Cajun food capital of the world. I would argue that till my death that we have the best Cajun food in the world, and it's some of the most authentic flavors I think that you'll ever find in Southern cooking. But the beautiful thing is it feels so right at home. There's just so many great restaurants to choose from. You'll actually find that per capita, we really have a large amount of restaurants that are available, but that also means stiff competition, where most of these places, they won't make it unless they are a really fantastic restaurant and they are placed in a great part of the city that people are willing to go to dine there. However, if you prefer a milder, more bland fare, right, or if you're looking for just very typical traditional UK dishes, well, then Lafayette's not going to be suited to you. We love flavor, we love spices. There's a lot of seafood. Of course, we embrace also international types of food. So there's different things such as Indian food. We have lots of Mexican restaurants or Tex-Mex. And so there are options if you like international, or if you just enjoy Cajun cuisine. That's not the only thing that's going to be shoved down your food. Of course, we have food chains that are very, very popular, and different restaurants and brands that everybody knows from all over the country. But Lafayette is really more suited, I think, to those unique flavors and those unique places. And that's where people you will find are really crowding in, and that's the places that have the long waits. But the close-knit community means that you're never really alone, right? It can also be very intrusive, or feel like maybe I don't have personal space. Maybe people ask me a bit too much how I'm doing or what's going on, or maybe my neighbor's being friendly with me. I like being left alone. Well, you can make it whatever you want to be, but at the same time, know that, you know, people are friendlier here, and that they might ask you a bit about who your mom and daddy are if you're from the area, or they may be genuinely curious to learn more about you, where you're from, or your background, or just to get to know you better within the community, to understand, you know, who their neighbors are. So the unique mix of cultural richness and the strong community ties is wonderful, unless you're somebody who craves complete anonymity and you want more of a detached lifestyle. So let's get down to the nitty-gritty. I told you the good and the bad, but who should consider Lafayette and who shouldn't? Who isn't a good fit for it? Well, Lafayette's charm isn't for everyone, right? Its essence and appeals can be specific to certain lifestyles. But I would say, going over everything that I've discussed, it's ideal for families. It's ideal for first-time home buyers because of the affordability, the things that we have available, the school programs, everything that they're putting into making the school systems even better in these areas are really attractive. And anyone who really values affordability, really coupled with the robust sense of community, then obviously you're going to find this place being perfect and feeling like home. Now, what about those who appreciate hearty, spicy food and enjoy frequent social visits with friendly neighbors? Well, then absolutely it's going to be perfect for you. I think you're going to find that sense of community be right up your alley. Now, on the other hand, if you're looking for that fast-paced environment, which has less community involvement, and if you're not into the lively spirited culture and the food, then Lafayette might not be the best match for you, because we really love festivals. We love being outside and being together and enjoying and celebrating food and music. So of course, if you don't enjoy those types of things, well, then you're going to know, and very quickly, it's not going to be the right match for you. But it really comes all down to what you're looking for. If you value cost-effective living, genuine interactions, Lafayette is truly a shining star. But if you don't, you might find it a bit too small-town feeling for your taste. So my final thoughts to wrap it up. Yes, in my 6 years, I really feel like I've gotten a very clear-eye view of what are the strengths and what are the pitfalls. And we talked about this, the affordability. It's a really strong thing. The authentic community, depending who you are, you may enjoy it. And also the modern scene. Are large pulses of what Lafayette is doing and what their trajectory is. They want to continue to see growth. So if you're not looking for that rapid development, the occasional infrastructure challenges, and a very particular cultural vibe, well, it might not suit everyone. But whether or not it is the move for you, if you're considering a move, or you're simply curious about what Lafayette is like or what it entails, reach out to me or my team. My number's always here on the screen, and I'm here to answer any of your questions, share insights with you guys, help guide you on whether Lafayette is truly the right fit for you in your next chapter. But don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more honest reviews of what's going on in the area, and of course, insider tips on living in Lafayette. Thanks for watching.